Hey everyone, Jim York here. Have you ever had the experience of trying to get yourself to sit down and do some task that's important but not all that fun, and then suddenly you're inspired to clean out your closet or go pick up the dog poop in the yard? Well, as I discussed in my last video, that's a form of procrastination, and it's pretty obvious, right? I mean, you're not fooling anyone, least of all yourself. This process of getting off track can be more subtle, though, and not exactly counterproductive either. So, this sort of thing has happened to me before. I'll be in the process of developing new content for a course that I'm launching, say, which I'm actually in the process of right now. But then one day I'll wake up and realize that there's a problem with my email system. So I'll spend a day sorting that out. And in the process of doing that, I realize that there's a setting that needs to change on my website. So I go in to fix that and then realize that, there are these articles that probably will need to be updated when I launch my course. And that's pretty easy. So I spend a day or two doing that. And before you know it, I've gone a whole week having completed these little tasks that are productive and they are important to have done at some point, but without having actually moved any closer toward my goal of actually getting the course launched. So it's kind of like if you discovered an old, rusted classic car in a barn that you wanted to fully restore, and you started out by washing the windows. In other words, while you're not exactly wasting your time, if you're anything like me, if you get to the end of the week having checked off these little tangential things, then you're not going to feel as productive as you might have, and you're also probably going to feel a little weak-willed and bad about yourself. Like, darn it, I let it get away from me again. You know the feeling? There's a story that soon after Bill Gates and Warren Buffett met for the first time, they were having dinner at Bill Gates's house, and his mother was there, and she gave each of them a piece of paper and asked them to write down what their secret to success was. And they each separately wrote the same word: focus. Now, I don't know if that story is true, but I absolutely think the idea is true, because it doesn't matter how much energy and motivation you have if it's not efficiently focused and targeted at something. So here are some tools to help you get and stay focused. My understanding is that snipers are taught that if you're shooting at someone and you're aiming at, say, their chest, you might miss by a couple of feet. But if you're aiming at something like the button on their shirt, you might only miss by a couple of inches and still hit them in the chest, see? I think the shorthand for this is aim big, miss big, aim small, miss small. Now, sorry if that's a macabre image for you, but the same thing applies to you and your targets. When you set out each day on a task, or each task within a day, try to have as much clarity about what little button-sized outcomes you're hoping to achieve. So let's say you have to write a report for work. Give yourself a laser-focused objective for what you expect the first time you sit down to write. So let's say it's 800 words. Okay? Well, if there's some margin of error, then you might end up writing 900 words. Or if you fall short, you might only write 700. If you only make it halfway, you'll still have written 400 words. But if you sit down to write with this objective of, well, it's time to get something done on this project, then you're either going to A, fail and get nothing done, or B, succeed and get something done. But that something is such a vague goal that you might write 50 words and call it a day, because 50 words is something, right? And you won't have leaned into the objective and been as productive and as focused as you might have been if you'd had a more focused goal to begin with. So when you get specific before you even begin, you set yourself up for the best focus, for putting in your best effort, and getting the best results. Once you've framed your effort the right way, then do your best to sit down and really settle calmly into the task at hand. It can be helpful to do a mindfulness meditation before you begin, so I'll put a link down below to some of the guided meditations on my site that might be helpful for you. But then once you've started working and perhaps find yourself drifting away, then ask yourself to double whatever amount of focus you sense that you do have. I promise this tip is effective. When you sit down to work, whether you're feeling focused for several minutes and then drift away, or you're almost entirely distracted the whole time, there's always some amount of focus that you can double. And when you do that, you'll experience a quick win and a sense that there is some improvement to be had. And then after you've worked for a bit like that, ask yourself to double your focus again. After you do this several times, you might find yourself dropping into a greater level of not only focus, but also more contentment and calm than you thought you had available to you. And all you have to do is ask yourself for it. After you've set a button-sized goal and you've doubled down on your focus over and over again, if you're still getting distracted, then guess what? You're probably bored. So in my next video, I'm going to be talking more about boredom. But look, if your mind is persistently asking you to think about something else or to do something else, then listen to that. One way that I and many of my clients have found to be really effective in working with this is to work on what's called a 50-10 schedule. So what that means is turn off all distractions. Put your phone on silent, close all your web browsers, and for 50 minutes, just completely focus and crank on your work. No excuses. And then at the end of that 50 minutes, then give yourself 10 minutes to get up and go for a walk or get something to eat or check your phone or whatever. That's your 10 minutes to do with as you please. And then after that 10 minutes is up, set a timer, do another 50-minute segment of cranking on your work with no distractions. And you'd be surprised how productive you can be if you stack together a few of these 50-10 segments. I hope this video served you well. If it did, please make sure to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on the other productivity-related videos that I have. And also, if you'd like to explore how I can coach you to the best focus and productivity of your life and enjoy yourself while you do it, and not just be checking off items on your to-do list, but actually experiencing lasting and meaningful personal growth, then head on over to jimyort.com/book to schedule a free coaching consultation. And I will look forward to hearing from you. Until next time, best wishes for keeping your focus where it needs to be in order for you to achieve the things that are most important to you. Take care.